Lions News Fan Report, what's up? Roar with me in the den of Detroit's fiercest fans right now, and if you believe our defense can finally roar back to life, slam that like button and subscribe, because today we're staring down a crisis that demands action. Injuries have haunted this roster like restless ghosts, and just when you think the storm has passed, here comes another thunderclap. Starting cornerback Ennis Rakestraw Jr. is sidelined for the entire season after shoulder surgery. Can you feel that hollow echo where his lockdown coverage once thrived? It's the sound of a secondary on the brink, staring down a schedule loaded with aerial assaults and championship dreams slipping through our fingers. Imagine walking into Ford Field on opening day, buzzing with anticipation, only to realize the player you counted on to shut down one wideouts won't suit up. What if the answer lies not in waiting for a rookie to learn on the fly, but in grabbing a seasoned warrior who still has fire left in his tank? Think about the chessboard that Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell face right now. Do they gamble on raw youth, or do they snatch up a veteran presence to steady the ship? Could adding a proven shutdown artist be the spark that finally sets this defense ablaze? Last season's multiple CB injuries nearly derailed our title hopes. If history repeats itself, fans' frustration will spiral out of control. We've seen young Terry and Arnold flash in nickel packages, but can he handle no-one tasks week in and week out? What if there's a free agent sitting out there, battle-tested, still hungry to prove he belongs among the league's elite? Picture a player who once roamed the sidelines as Defensive Player of the Year, who still manned 15 games for a top-tier defense just last season, and who boasts 32 career interceptions that read like trophies in a Hall of Fame. That's the kind of presence that turns confusion into confidence, raw talent into a polished unit, and saves a season from spiraling into regret. Suddenly, the idea of scooping up Stephon Gilmore, yes, the 2019 DPOY, starts to feel less like a patch and more like a lifeline. At 34, he's no spring chicken, but his instincts and savvy could teach our rookies the art of disguise, the secrets of press coverage, and the nastiness needed in the locker room. Imagine him lining up opposite Amon-Ra St. Brown in practice, flashing the moves that once locked down Michael Thomas or DeAndre Hopkins, passing that torch of technique to the next generation. Do you think Gilmore at a bargain price could stabilize this unit and give the Lions a backbone they've craved for decades? Or will we bide our time, hoping that the kids will grow up fast enough before we face Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, or a Jay Brown? Time is slipping away, and every week without a reliable corner is a potential blowout in the making. The front office has a choice: watch the season tiptoe toward disappointment, or seize the moment and bring in a name that still resonates across NFL locker rooms. But even that move isn't guaranteed to silence the doubters. Can one veteran really transform our entire defensive identity? Will his mere presence intimidate opposing quarterbacks into misfires? Or will the lack of chemistry derail the best-laid plans before they even reach October? As the countdown to kickoff ticks louder, the question hanging over this franchise is clear. In a division stacked with lethal passing attacks, can Detroit afford to wait any longer for heroes to emerge organically, or must it make the boldest play of the offseason to cement its Super Bowl aspirations? Stay tuned, because we're just getting started, and the next chapter of this saga could redefine what it means to be a Lion in Detroit. If you believe the Lions are finally ready to roar with the kind of ferocity our city deserves, smash that like button, and let's finish what we started, because the next move could rewrite our narrative forever. Imagine Stephon Gilmore's veteran instincts snapping into the fabric of this secondary like a destiny-long pen, but only now coming to life. Picture him eyeing down the opponent's no-one receiver at the line of scrimmage, jaw set, ready to replicate the lockdown magic that once earned him Defensive Player of the Year. Can you see the relief washing over a fan base that has endured heartache after heartache, from the playoff drought to the agonizing near misses in NFC title games? If Gilmore steps on the Ford Field in Honolulu blue this season, Detroit's identity shifts overnight. We go from a defense built on youthful promise to a unit anchored by championship pedigree. The mere presence of a 32-interception veteran in practice raises the standard for rookies like Terrion Arnold and Brian Branch, transforming every drill into a master class. Arnold's footwork snaps sharper. Branch's ball hawk instincts come alive when he studies Gilmore's split-second reads. Suddenly, our secondary doesn't just defend, it intimidates. And opposing quarterbacks feel that tension no more. Blinking at screens, no more easy completions underneath. Remember how in 2016 we felt invincible with Ndamukongsa swarming the backfield? This could be our secondary seal moment when Detroit's defense declares itself a fortress. Last year, our pass defense surrendered 240 yards per game through the air, ranking 17th in the league. With Gilmore's addition, that number could plummet into the top 10, forcing teams to rethink their game plans at kickoff. When the opponent's best wideout sees Gilmore shadowing him, they'll hedge deep, opening lanes for our pass rush rookies and veterans alike hungry to make that sack or forced fumble. Moreover, this isn't just about stats. It's about healing wounds. Think back to those Monday nights when Jared Goff stared down double-digit scores and the roar in Ford Field fell into a heavy silence. Now imagine that same roar reborn when a textbook breakup floater snaps off. The fingertips of a slant route, and the stadium erupts. The emotional valve that's been stuck since the Barry Sanders era finally releases, flooding the crowd with hope instead of despair. There's also a cultural ripple effect. A locker room anchored by Gilmore's no-nonsense approach becomes a crucible for every player to sharpen his edge. Rookie draft picks adjust to NFL speed under his mentorship. Second-year players rediscover the urgency that slipped through cracks. Last offseason, when a veteran like Gilmore demands perfection, the unit responds in kind, turning penalties into pinpoint coverage, mental errors into calculated aggression. Those subtle transformations don't always show up on highlight reels, but they snowball into game-changing moments when a tipped pass becomes an interception or when a chipped receiver falls a half-yard short of the first down marker. Contrast that with the alternative, standing pat, hoping young corners grow up in time to face Devontae Adams or Justin Jefferson. We've weathered that gamble before, and we know how it ends. Heartache in January, a season of what-ifs echoing across the city. This move, bold as it is, offers a clear path out of indecision. It says Detroit is tired of waiting for. Potential Detroit demands production. Of course, there's no guarantee. Gilmore is 34, and Father Time is undefeated. Could age dull those instincts? Could chemistry falter in his first month? These are valid concerns. But even a ghost of that Gilmore who stood toe-to-toe with Mike Evans or Tyreek Hill would be a massive upgrade over the unknowns we've been forced to trust. And if he rewrites one rule book chapter by teaching our rookies the tricks of the trade, his legacy here could extend beyond one season. As the calendar turns towards September, the front office's clock ticks louder than the crowd noise on a roaring Sunday. Do they pull the trigger on this veteran lifeline, or do they allow uncertainty to dictate another year of unmet expectations? The answer will shape the Lions' future, and not just in the win-loss column. It will dictate whether we stand tall as a defensive juggernaut or continue to chase ghosts of seasons past. So tell me, Lions fans, are you ready to see Gilmore take the challenge? To watch our defense evolve into a force that echoes across the league? Head to the comments, unleash your voice, and if you haven't already, subscribe to Lions News Fan Report, because we're on the brink of something monumental, and you won't want to miss the moment the Lions finally roar.